about the hospitality industry. There's three primary areas of hospitality. They would be restaurant, lodging, and travel. I have selected for my career path to be in the restaurant business. This year, 2021, I celebrate my 41st anniversary as a career professional waiter. Let's go back to when I first got this job. Back in 1980, I found myself in a career choice of being in insurance. I'd been in it for 10 years, very successful at it, make a heck of a lot of money. I'm born and raised in Oregon, but at that point, I had been transferred by my company to the San Francisco area. Had a beautiful office, company car, all the trappings of professional success. Was going through some life changes. I found myself becoming a single parent. I found that I absolutely disliked working that particular career choice in insurance. It just wasn't me. With all these things going on, I quit my job, got rid of all my stuff. I moved back to Portland. What I had realized is that I really did not want to do insurance anymore, and I really didn't have any idea what path I was going to pursue. Saw an ad in the newspaper for a company called TGI Fridays, a restaurant. I'd never worked in a restaurant before in my life. I thought, you know what, that would be a nice break. I want a job that's easy. Boy, was I in for a surprise. So I applied with TGI Fridays, and I got the job, and I was totally shocked. I was very excited. I announced to my family that I got this new job. They were, of course, very excited for me to see that I was going to move forward with my new life as a single parent. And what are you going to be doing, Paul? I said, well, I'm going to be a waiter. I wished I would have had a camera to capture the look on their faces of, what? It was like, loser? And I felt that. But I had made a commitment to try this job, and so I moved forward with it. The first thing I discovered was how hard this is. I always thought it was very simple. It was, you just take an order, you give them food, you give them a check, and that's it. No, there's way more involved with waiting tables and serving other people. As I got into it, I found out that I really like serving other people. I really like the restaurant business and being a waiter, because from a business perspective, what I was given was this beautiful multi-million-dollar facility and all the products and resources and the support staff to help me take care of my guests and my station. And the irony is I looked at it as being an entrepreneur and in being in business for myself, except I didn't have to pay for anything. Everything was given to me. So what I decided to do is I wanted to focus on just my guests. What I've discovered is that there's a difference between service and hospitality. Service is a series of steps. It's a ritual. Hospitality is what people feel. And what people feel when you do business, they remember for a long time. And both the restaurant and the lodging and the travel industries are about hospitality. And it's about how you create an experience for them that make them feel good. In the process of coming to you here today, as I got into my waiting position and realized how bad I was at it, I started to look deeper into it. I started studying more about it. I read more about it. I attended workshops. I went to seminars. I put myself in a position where I could learn as much as possible about my craft and about my industry, so I could elevate the experience of my guest in hospitality when they were sitting in my station. The progress was kind of surprising. A few years after that, I had an opportunity to write some articles for a regional newspaper on hospitality. From that, I developed a consulting program through my company Waiters World, which I have today, in delivering customer service training for restaurants and lodging and travel organizations. In that process, I didn't realize that I was, because of my commitment to my craft and my industry, that there was the world had just been opened up to me. From that newspaper writing, article writing, I was invited to write a book. I've written 2 books about waiting tables. I mean, who would have thought? Writing a book about tables, who reads that? But that was a sign of accomplishment for me, but it also provided resources for my industry so that people could improve themselves. Some of the things that have come to me in committing to my work, I've had the opportunity to be written up in the Wall Street Journal. I was interviewed for ABC's 2020. I have traveled all over the United States presenting workshops and seminars about waiting tables, about customer service, about hospitality. I would have never dreamed that these opportunities would have come to me. But the heart of me is I'm a waiter, and I love waiting tables. I love serving other people. I love creating an experience for them that they did not expect. It's amazing how the restaurant industry and my being in my station, I have a place of shelter for folks that they can come and celebrate. They can come and hide out a little bit if they're having some difficulties and challenges. But I have the environment to which I can enable or facilitate their particular reason for being there. Now, the skills that I need to do that effectively is I've got to have product knowledge. I've got to know my systems and procedures of the operations of the business, from how to make coffee to how to use a POS system to how to carry a beverage tray full of drinks and not spill them all over everybody. And I tell you what, that part of the job, that's probably the hardest part about this job, is being on stage, being in front of everybody. It's like I remember one time I spilled a drink and you hear somebody call from the back going, "Loser, job opening." Oh my God, I was just mortified. But I also realized that it didn't matter that I spilled the drink. What mattered was, how did I respond to it with my guests? Did I still come across as confident, just clean it up and take care of it, but still focus on my guests? Can I, under pressure, do this and present an essence of being hospitable and everything's okay? The drink spill is a side thing. Can I come back and still remain attentive to my guests and go through all the processes of functioning? Part of the things that surprised me was the amount of money I could make as a tipped worker. As a tip worker, you typically in the industry come in at entry-level minimum wage, but as a tip worker, in a very quick, rapid period of time, I was able to increase my hourly income from minimum wage to $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60 an hour, depending on the event, the circumstances, the people I'm engaged with. I also found that the career opportunities within the industry, especially through my travels and doing workshops, going to food shows, for example. I went into one here in Portland several years ago, and there were over 1,000 booths. And each one of these booths represented a particular product or service that supported the restaurant, hotel, and travel industries. And it was computers, it was food, it was aprons, it was cookware, it was technology, it was supply and delivery, it was distribution. I mean, it was just mind-boggling. Of all of those 1,000 booths, every one of them was a career path attached to me being a waiter, if I chose to do that. And it was interesting to discover also the people working for these other companies supporting the restaurant industry, that they all at one time or another worked in a restaurant. So it's very interrelated as far as the career paths that we have available to you if you should consider coming to the restaurant, the lodging, or the travel industry. Some of the skills that we've picked up in working as a waiter is there's a thing called emotional intelligence. Look it up, Google it. Emotional intelligence has a lot to do with being able to pick up on the nonverbal prompts and cues of people in communicating and connecting with people. I find that dining out is an emotional experience for not only you, my guest, but also for me as a server. I want you to be happy. And you, when you come visit me, you expect me to make everything work perfectly. So that's a lot of pressure on me to orchestrate everything that's going on and all the wheels attached to your dining experience, which you as a guest shouldn't be concerned about. That's not why you're there. You're there just to have a good time. Me and my team, we're there to facilitate that for you. I think that one of the things you're at in this stage in your life in high school is thinking of all the possible career opportunities to consider. I think if you want to come to the hospitality industry, some things to consider that you can start prepping yourself for right now. Of course, there's the culinary programs in the school system. There's the hospitality programs that are available. Some basics though. Taking business classes, taking English and writing classes, taking psych and sociology classes, taking speech and theater. Business classes, obvious to get the general gist of how businesses work. The hospitality and culinary programs, more specifically related to the hospitality industry, to teach you the skills and the process with that. The English and writing classes, those are important to learn to be able to communicate effectively and clearly. The psychology and sociology classes, those are helpful because those help you understand the interactions and the dynamics between one-on-one connections with people and how groups of people impact one another, and how you impact your surroundings as friends, how you impact your surroundings as a group in sports and in business especially. Speech and theater, I took a speech class in high school for one reason only. I was way too shy. I couldn't look at people, I couldn't talk. God, we got that fixed. But I took the class specifically because I needed to break out of my shyness and my timidness, my being timid. Oh my God. Well, obviously I fixed that. One of the key elements to being in the hospitality industry is you have to have what I call is the hospitality heart. You have to like to serve people. And that's different than being a servant. Serving people is creating a better life experience. It's also creating a better world. One of the ironies to my work, which I get a huge amount of satisfaction out of, and it has nothing to do with money, is for the time that you come and sit at my station, I have an opportunity to make the world a little bit better for you while you're there. You've got things going on in your life when you're outside the restaurant. I can't fix those. But for the moment, in my station, you're going to have a nice time. Or if you need a quiet time, I'm going to make sure that you're not disturbed. And I find that to be probably the most rewarding personal aspect of me being a waiter. One of the things, a line I learned, which I found totally appropriate as far as being in the service industry, being in the hospitality industry, comes from Dr. Martin Luther King. And his phrase was, "All labor that uplifts humanity should be done with painstaking excellence and dignity." And I hope every time I engage my guests, I bring that to them. I create that experience for them. You, as you are making decisions and planning a career forward, I think what's most important that you personally learn to be the best of you. Be the best version of yourself. You need to be authentic. You need to live with purpose and with dignity. You have to have integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. You do what's right. I think you also need to be courageous. Now, courageous, what is that? How do you be courageous in high school? Courage is the willingness to advance forward in spite of any doubts, in spite of any uncertainty you have, or fear or failure. That takes courage to do that. At this time in your lives, one of the people you're really trying to impress is your mom and your dad. And that, "Oh, Johnny, Mary, that's a great career path you picked." When I was in high school, I had no idea what I was going to be doing. I had no idea I'd be doing this. I had no idea I would be doing a video speaking with you wonderful people. I hope that what you'll do is explore some of the hospitality opportunities in our restaurant and our lodging and our travel industries. When I decided to be a waiter, one of the people that that it impacted in a kind of a unique way was my dad. So going back to making your mom and dad happy. First, I should like to introduce my dad. This is my dad here. My dad was an immigrant from the Philippine Islands. He came here in 1927. He was a migrant farm worker. He was not well formally educated, but he spoke 5 languages, so he certainly was not a dumb man. But as he started his family here in America as a farm laborer, he ended up having 5 sons, I being the oldest. And as all parents do, we work hard and sacrifice so that our children can do better. Well, when my dad came to America, waiting tables was considered a low-class job. waiting tables was primarily only available to immigrants and to people of color. It was considered servant work. When my dad realized that I liked waiting tables and I was going to pursue that, I could tell he was not real happy about that. He never said anything to me. He was always supportive, but it always stuck with me. So what I like to do for an event like this, I like to dedicate this event today to my dad. He did not live long enough to see my successes and revel in them, but that's for him. Again, I want to thank the Oregon Hospitality Foundation and the Portland Public Schools for inviting me to visit with you today. I think what's really important too is that I thank you. I thank you as my guest. You took the time, your valuable time, to sit and visit with me. And I can't thank you. It was a true pleasure serving you today. For more information, I hope you'll take a look at the Oregon Hospitality Foundation's website to see the innumerable classes and training programs and certifications that are available. If you happen to be in the neck of the woods in Oregon, please come and ask for my station. Again, it would be my pleasure to serve you. Thank you.